the healing we're ready for doesn't come from changing anything. It comes from the ability to see and be with what is. That's not where we live. We live in this mind that is always trying to make ourselves and our life what we think it should be. And it is as basic as, oh my God, the stoplight is too long, I'm going to be late to the doctor's office. There's this chronic sense of unease. And yet that is not who we are. We are the space that all of those thoughts, feelings, and sensations are passing through. So what do I mean by that? Many of you have done this before, but it really is. We got a new gal today, and this is really good to come back to it. So I want you to do this with me. This is the finger. This is the 65,000 thoughts a day. This is the stuff that is made out of fear, glued together with judgment. Thinks you're not enough. You all should be different. What do we do? What do we do? Can you see how you just you think you are thought, and you follow thought wherever it goes. So what did we do this morning? Again, take your finger, following thought, and then put it on something right in front of you and really see it. Now see, the finger still keeps on going, but you're not following the finger. Now follow the finger. Oh my God, my pants are tight. Oh my God, and then you just come back to your breath. Come back. And then get lost in the finger again, in your thoughts, okay? And then come back. Okay, does that make sense? Isn't that just the most brilliant way I figured out how to say it? And so then what begins to happen is that the more you see that there really is a difference between being right here with life before you think about it and being lost in your stories about life, which is where you are most all the time, you begin to see this is where you want to be. This is where the good stuff is. Of course, the story says, oh, no, we have to manage life. If we don't manage it, something bad will happen. But the more you pull yourself out, and this is why I do meditation retreats, so that we can have this space where we have the support, that we can pull ourselves out of the story for a moment here and a moment there and see, oh my God, life is happening here. Life is happening here. And then we get caught back into the story again. And the story says, well, I'll give you everything you want. Well, it's a prison, And so what begins to happen is that the more you do this, the more you do this, oh, that's the story of fear, and I don't need to follow it. You see, I'm only following it with my eyes, you see? I'm not going, oh my God, my pants are so tight, and I just can't get into my bikini, and my husband will divorce me. Here we are. And then we begin to watch, oh, that's the story of fear, and that's glued together with judgment. What begins to happen when that happens? You begin to notice all this noticing here, and this noticing here, you begin to understand, oh my God, there's this vast space that I am. And all of these thoughts and feelings and sensations arise inside of you, and they move through you. They always move through you. Even the stuff that you hate the most that you think is going to last forever. Oh my God, I'm so depressed, and now I'm going to be depressed forever. Nothing lasts forever. Nothing, not even this planet, lasts forever. And so when you were very young, everything passed through you. You're playing with your toy, and wow, and then your big brother takes it, and then your mother gives you a popsicle. You didn't have a mind yet that wanted to control what you were experiencing. Okay? We didn't have any thoughts in our head when we were very young. Everything just passed right through us. We weren't conscious. We had some level of awareness, but we weren't conscious. But as we're growing up, and in the first 6 years of our life, most of us had unconscious parents. And that doesn't mean that they didn't love you, but they had gone. They were in this land most all the time, and they didn't know how to fully be there with you. Oh, I see that you're upset. Tell me about it. I'm here. Rather than, oh God, stop crying, you're irritating me, or go away, or big girls don't cry, or whatever it is. And so we began to start to hold on to our experiences. We started to stuff them down. We did this a lot with our breath. We learned how to hold our breath. And what happened is we didn't know what to do with the rage of our brother taking our toy, or our mother packing her bags and saying she's going to leave because you have been a bad girl. I mean, that happens, you know. Or, you know, the grief of, you know, your guppy died and you don't understand it. And here were these big feelings that moved through us. And nobody was there meeting us right there. And so we tightened down around them. We stuffed them inside. And more, as we got older, and especially during teenagehood, this is when we really learned the art of turning away from ourselves. We have had all this stuff moving through us. We've been trying to manage it with our breath and trying to be a good little boy or a good little girl. But eventually we learn the art of getting out of Dodge. And we learn how to eat the thing, or drink the thing, or smoke the thing, or sex the thing, or, you know, now text the thing, you know. And we learned how to move away from what we were experiencing. The only thing that we really didn't see is it was all stuffed inside of us. It didn't go away. That fear, that sadness, that grief, that anger, that rage, it's all here. And as an adult, that is our life. Is we have to manage our experience so that they don't show up as, you know, to wake, you know, life doesn't show up to wake up inside of us this stuff that we have stuffed, you know? But what is awakening all about? Awakening isn't about management. It's about engagement. It's about learning, and I just got chills. It's learning how to really see that the pain that you experienced and are still experiencing, you have turned it into suffering by resisting it. And so we are an extremely addicted society. I mean, not only street drugs and TV and, you know, internet and alcohol and prescription drugs. I mean, we're mostly addicted to busyness. And we just hydroplane. And oh my God, I just felt such a wave of grief. Is we are homesick. We are homesick. We are homesick for what we knew when we were very little, before we had thought in our head. The joy. Just look into a baby's eyes. My God, the whole universe is there. It's vast, it's spacious, and things pass through. That doesn't mean that there's not discomfort. You know, the diaper pin, you know, of course they don't have diaper pins anymore, but you know, I was doing cloth diapers when, you know, because I was living on the land, and so, you know, you had to watch out for diaper pins. But that which we no longer can allow to pass through us is our suffering. And we maneuver through our lives, you know, we like our boyfriend as long as he is acting in a way that doesn't wake up any of this stuff inside of us. We think that we're doing just really great as long as our body is feeling halfway decent, you know. But oh my God, give ourselves the flu or an aching back, and what happens? Whether with our aching back or our boyfriend, we react, we shut down, we tighten down around the reaction, and we're either off in, oh my God, I'm going to die, I have the flu and I'm going to die, or I hate him and I never want to speak to him again. And so the new book is really all about how to see and unhook from all of this stuff. It's about using your life, because your life is, well, this is the ditty that came while I was writing the book. Life is set up to bring up what has been bound up. You understand more this morning what it means by what's bound up. So it can open up to be freed up so you can show up for life. So yes, there's pain. Absolutely. And yes, people say things that wake up this hidden belief that I'm bad and wrong to my core. And what do? We either attack them or we attack ourselves. What is that? That's suffering. That's the tightening down that we have learned by being lost in this conceptual world. So life is saying to us, we get to come back to life. I like what Stephen said when somebody asked him, how long does this take? And he said, it's the work of a lifetime. But by God, we are being given this. You did not follow the call to go to Nordstrom's this morning, or the drag races, or whatever. You followed the call to come and sit with you. And that's how we begin to unhook from these stories. Is it difficult in the beginning? Absolutely, because you really do believe you are that shame. You are that fear. You are that anger. You are that irritation, that you absolutely have to resist the ache in your knee. I'm not saying don't go to the doctor, but it's about learning how to allow your experience to pass through you. And yes, you will experience pain. You'll also experience a tremendous amount of joy, because you're no longer resisting life. You're no longer turning your life into suffering by tightening down around it. And so the example I want to give is that in my 20s, this was, my whole childhood was a descent into, more and more darkness. But that in my early 20s, that's when it was the most, and I tried to kill myself 3 times, and I gained 97 pounds in a year once, and I was washing all that food down with alcohol and taking every single pill I could find. Why? Why was I doing that? To try to get away from my own experience, because I didn't know how to be with it, because there was so much shame and so much fear and so much heartache. And during that time, I used to have these very horrible, I'm not sure if they're migraine headaches, because I wasn't sensitive to light, but it would go up and over my head, and it would be like somebody shot me in the head with a bullet right here, and my eye would just water, and it's just the shooting, just horrible pain from here and down. And then as I started awakening, that went away. I was no longer holding on to light. That's what my first teacher taught me in the Seeing is the Movement. Oh my God, I'm so afraid. Oh, that's just fear, and off it goes. Well, you can't do this and hope it will go. That doesn't work, but the more you see the stories in your head that are based on fear and glued together with judgment, the more they will just pass through you. And so every once in a while, this is many decades later, but during those decades, every once in a while I'd have just the energetic memory of that. It would never, I would never experience pain, but I could feel that when I was tightening down around life, it was kind of like my wake-up call. Oh, we're holding on to something. What is asking to be seen so it can move right through. And a couple of weeks ago, I woke up with the headache. Out of the blue. You know, and I can't really even tell you. The only thing I could assume was that something happened in the dream. Because there wasn't anything really, you know, I mean, just the normal stuff. We all have normal, you know, stuff that happens in our life. And I'm just waking up, and what is the mind's response to it? Oh, shit! You know, oh my God, this is back. What have I got to do? What, does my chiropractor work early on, you know, I can't remember what day it was, and that, no, he didn't work early on that day. Oh my God, what am I going to do? You know, oh, I'll get up, I'll take a hot and cold shower. Maybe I can get this to move through. And then awareness kicked in and said, oh man, the mind is really reactive here. It really doesn't like this. So I got up out of bed, got my water, and I meditate every morning. And I went in and I just found my breath. Because at that point the mind was, oh my God, it was still, you know, oh, this is an emergency, you know. And my mind is I am a friend to my mind now. Used to not be that way. And my mind is my friend. You know, it's a little neurotic, you know, but I have created a very good relationship with this fear-based mind that's glued together with judgment. I said, oh, sweetie, I see you're really upset. Let's just rest in the breath. Do you know how many years it took to get to that place? No, we can't rest in the breath. We've got to figure this out. I hate this, you know. Or we just have to space out. Let's just not even think about this, which is a favorite thing. You know, and when that doesn't work with all people, when that doesn't work, then you go eat the thing, drink the thing, smoke the thing, shop the thing, or whatever. Can you see how you progressively get farther away from your own experience? Okay? And so I just found my breath, and because I've done it so much, the mind very quickly said, oh yeah, that's right, this is where the good stuff is. Yeah, the headache's still there, but let's just rest in the breath. And after, you know, just not very many breaths, awareness said, oh, the neck is just holding. It was no longer a problem. It was just held energy. And the reason why I'm telling you this story is that I wear earplugs when I meditate. I use earplugs a lot in my life because I have a very sensitive system, and if sounds are really loud, you know, I can use earplugs to calm down the reactive. So, and I've just gotten used to doing them when I meditate. It allows me to go in more deeply. And this is my earplug buddy. You know, yeah, right. And so I go, and awareness, who you really are, that which can see what you are experiencing, rather than falling into it, identifying with it, or running away from it. Awareness can see what is without needing it to be any different than what it is. Okay? And I am just, my attention is just fully here. The whole time that I was getting up and getting my water and going, you know, into the counseling room, the mind was in resistance. And it was in fixing mode. We gotta get rid of this, you know, which we need to do some of that. You know, if we break a leg, you need to go to the doctor. But that's where our suffering is. We're trying to get away from what we are experiencing. And so I go in there, and as soon as my attention settles here, that it's not a emergency anymore, it's just holding, my heart just burst open and said, oh, sweetheart, man, I can see you're really scared about something. And with the earplugs in, I literally heard the muscles let go. Wow. You know how when you crack your neck, you know, and it wasn't quite that loud, but it went, and it was gone. That's the power of your focused attention. That is what, this is why I say, the healing we're ready for doesn't come from changing anything. It comes from the ability to see and be with what is. And when we hear this, it just rings true. And then the mind immediately takes over. So, okay, how can I do that? Now I got to figure out how to do that. And then we go back up here. But this is why I do meditation retreats, so that over and over again we can watch the mind take over, and then we can just come back and be with what is. So if you have a pain today, explore it. Be with it for a moment. But then watch the mind resist it. But the healing we're ready for, the healing that we long for, comes when we recognize we are the space, we are the heart that all of our experiences are flowing.